And today I have the absolute wonderful and privileged opportunity to speak to Caroline Popoola. Now, Caroline, welcome to the Business and Wealth Show for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here. I've heard so much about you. So me being on here is like, yeah, yippee, I made it.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And for those who don't know who you are, Caroline, just give them a little bit background of who you are. You built you tell them exactly who you are. It's fantastic work that you've done.
Thank you so much, Mark. My name's Caroline Papila, like you can see, and I work in childcare, in the childcare industry. So I'm an educator. I've done that for 20 years, and we're blessed enough to have 14 branches, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be about 18 branches because we've got three more in the pipeline. I work mainly within the early year sector, that's children under the age of 5. And I've done that for over 20 years. So I'm one you would call an accidental entrepreneur, but I tell you, accident or not, I'm enjoying
It's
it.
fantastic. Listen, reason why I think we had a mutual friend who introduced us, and I said, I need to speak to
Yes.
you because some people struggle just to open up one establishment, and you're in a day. Would you call it daycare,
Yeah.
early
Yeah. Daycare. Yeah.
daycare business?
Yeah.
And so you've moved from just one to 14 units, now almost 18 units by the end of the year. Fantastic and big applause to you because to
Thank you.
do that requires good people, in other words, a team. It requires, how can I say, good systems and processes. Otherwise, you'll work yourself to the ground. So tell us about that journey. How did that journey come about? How did you get into or you said you was an accidental entrepreneur, but how did you fall into that business and not only just fall into it, but actually grow it at the pace that you've been growing it over the last few years?
I'm going to use some words that people are not used to hearing people say. So words like greedy and and I say that in a nice way, greedy in a nice way, in the sense that, growing up, I know I've never been comfortable in one thing I'm doing. So I was an insurance underwriter, trained as an insurance underwriter,
Wow.
worked in the city, in the Lloyd's of London, the City of London for 12 years. And I could tell you every 6 months, I felt like I needed to change my job. I just was so uncomfortable. I felt like, okay, I've reached my limit now. I've reached my peak. What next? Why I didn't, it had no name. We didn't have a name for entrepreneurship or whatever it is at the time. It felt like there was no name to it. Fast forward, I was made redundant, and a friend of mine said, "Oh," and I cried to her, and she's gone, "Oh, that she was going to go into something called some childcare stuff." I'm like, "Oh, okay, what's that then? All right, let's do that." Whatever. And I looked online and investigated. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Yes, I guess something I could do without having to work so hard, and I can just tell people what to do, and I sit back." So that was the original plan. That was the original plan. Obviously, what a lie I told myself, right? So, because we all know that you work harder in your business than you do elsewhere. So, and
Absolutely.
that was it. So, the first one started. Obviously, I'm fast forwarding again because of time. With no experience, with no child, I literally crossed over to my neighbor opposite me, and I said, "Oh, guess what? I've been asked to come and do this thing in this school. You've got children, I haven't. Come on, let's do it together. You've got the children experience. You know how to give them all the care and love in the world. And I'll just do the technical part, the talking part, so the
Oh,
getting the customer part." And that was it. And within 6 months of her working with me, she wanted to leave. And she helped me. We recruited two new people. And I think what came out of all of this is the fact that, one, being proactive is so important.
mm,
And I never thought at the time that that's the name. I just felt like, oh, that's just me. I just think in advance.
right.
I just never thought, but I'm so proactive. And I never thought it's a gift. I just assume, oh, yeah, it's just one of those things you have in you. And you just happen to be one of those people. It's actually a gift. And my friends would
Yes.
highlight that, Caroline, it is a gift because some people just don't see it. And so one, being proactive was key. So I would think in advance and thinking, okay, I need to employ someone for possibly, maybe if we grow, kind of. And that's how the growth really happened. So within the first 8 months, when she left in 6 months, 3 months later, we had an opportunity to grow the business. I approached another school and they said yes. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's brilliant. So this time I had three staff and myself. And
Wow.
then I said never again because managing adults is just the worst thing in the world. And if you listen to all I'm saying, Mac, is no business experience whatsoever. I've literally moved from being employed to being an employer of people
Wow.
with no experience working in the field,
Yeah.
no experience. Okay, a little experience managing people in my as an underwriter, but
Yeah.
that's about it. Never, no experience running a business. Don't even know the first thing of branding, marketing, having a site, what logo, any of those.
My goodness. Let me say this. You see, when you talk about your background from working in corporate as an underwriter and all these other things you were doing and being made redundant and falling into entrepreneurship, it seems like there was an entrepreneur burning inside, a yearning, waiting to pop out to use its creativity and the passion and the energy, but no outlet. And so suddenly this outlet has come to you and you're tapping into what I call innate skills and ability and figuring it out as you went along. And 20
Yeah.
years later, you've never looked back.
No, oh, couldn't. I never. I couldn't imagine being employed.
Amazing.
I wouldn't even know where
Amazing.
to start.
And it seemed like you didn't make excuses. You're not waiting to have, some people make this excuse that, oh, when my website is ready and when I've done my social media and when I've done all this, then I'll launch my business. Come on, come on. Unless
I didn't,
what
I
have you
didn't
got to
even know
say to that?
I didn't even know I needed any of them.
Right? You just made it
I,
happen.
I was just passionate.
Yes.
I just knew that something wanted to come out. What it was, I don't know. I just had this ounce of energy that I needed to plow into something
Yeah.
that is not having to work for somebody else. And that just happened. And the one thing I also struggle with I mean this day and age is when you talk about passion and you talk about your goal and your vision and all that stuff, you can have it written down, Mac. You
Yeah.
can have everything written down, and without taking action, it means nothing.
Very true.
Absolutely nothing.
Very true.
So, and you can have a passion about something, but if you're not doing anything about it,
Yeah.
it's zilch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so what's the point of, and what I find people say is like, oh, I need to identify what my passion is first. Why? Just whatever your hand find it to do, just do it.
Mm.
And by you doing, something will kick off and passion would come. And you see what you're drawn to, what you're passionate about. So
Mhm.
you can imagine being made redundant, sitting at home, not doing anything, and thinking, oh, yeah, maybe I could go into, or maybe I could go into, because bear in mind, I had no other experience. I started insurance at the age of 17.
Oh,
I
wow.
had no other experience whatsoever,
Wow. Wow.
apart from talking.
Well, that serves you and that takes you the right way. So if there's someone sitting there thinking, I've got a business idea. I would love to run my business. I'd love to start my business. What are some tips or steps you can suggest that allows them to think or get out their comfort zone and actually start taking the action? Because in life, nothing happens unless you take the action. And some people are very good academically. They've taken the action. They've gone and studied. They got their degree, their master's degree, and all the rest of it. But when it comes to taking action in terms of their money, their business, or wealth, they kind of sit on it like they're waiting for something miraculous to happen before they do it. Any thoughts?
So the first thing I always say to people, if you approach me and say, "Oh, I'm looking to start a business," never let money be the reason why you don't start. That's always the issue. And people will say, "Oh, yeah, well, I need about 20,000 or 50,000 or 120,000 to start the business. But I don't have it." Forget the money part. So
Mhm.
because opportunities could come at any time. I could approach you at any time and say, oh, by the way, I've got 20,000 pounds or 50,000 pounds to invest. Where are you with that business? Oh, well, to be honest, I have. that story,
Yeah. Yeah.
that story. So I say do the background work first.
Mhm.
So that means looking into your market research, your logistics, your policies, your procedures, all of those things. Do all of those things first. Your business plan. I tell you, 20 years down the line, I don't even have a business plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one thing I do though, I always have a cash flow forecast for every single branch.
Essential. Essential.
Cash flow forecast is a must.
Yeah, because without a cash flow forecasting or management of cash flow, when cash runs out, now you're in trouble. So you need to
And
know where you are cash wise now
yeah,
in the
yeah,
coming 6 months and a year. So
yeah,
absolutely essential. And
yeah,
that will save you rather than the business plan. I think
yeah.
business plans are great for when you are aiming to raise finance or capital and all these, and you've
And
got to
that's it.
prove to
Yeah,
someone, a partner
yeah,
or an
yeah,
investor. Outside of
yeah.
that, business is dynamic, and you go and put a
Totally.
plan together for a year, and a few months' time, things change.
Yeah,
So listen, I love
totally.
your energy. I love what you stand for. I love your get up and go, because it seems like whatever you put your mind to, your heart to, you will make it happen. It seems like you have that kind of energy.
I have some words. The word persistent, I'm just one of those. So just don't share the idea because if you should when with my team, I said there are two things. You either love me or you love me. Because I would push you. I would encourage you to be your best self. So
Mm,
I'm constantly thinking, not just my business, I'm thinking, okay, I need to raise leaders that would make a difference to my business because I haven't stopped growing. And people say to you, oh, so when would you stop thinking, when would you know when you're there? I'm thinking, I don't know. Like what's wrong with just growing? So I'm constantly raising leaders within my teams, thinking, okay, when the opportunity come, where are you at? What's your thinking?
mm,
And so we said we have three in the pipeline that has to happen between now and December. I already have leaders for those already. Then I just because and as such, they already know how the business runs, they know your values, they know your policies, your procedures, the method, the structure. So you then don't have to reinvent a new wheel because they already know that. You then just bring in a strong person that would support them and help the idea grow. And that's it. So it's so for me, it just comes as second nature, having to grow, scale up, run the business and so on. So we're constantly thinking, okay, what else can we do? We need to diversify. We are diversifying. What else can we do? So for me, the word persistent is so key.
mm.
The word determination, like those are words I wake up with every day, and that's even before I became an entrepreneur. I just love those two words. Like I just never get. I'm like a dog with a bone. I never give up.
It's
You know,
fantastic.
so if the idea is planted in there, it's coming out.
Yeah.
And people say things like, "Oh, did you, as a practicing Christian, did you take it to God? Did you hear God say
Mm.
something?" I'm thinking, okay, which part do you want me to lie to you or just be honest? Like,
Uh-huh.
so and that's what it is. So for me, the word persistent and determination are two words that I don't take for granted. I said in my vocabulary, there's no word like I can't.
No.
There's no can't in my vocabulary. It doesn't exist. Even with my children, it doesn't. We don't know the word.
Right.
So
Good.
that means
Good.
you wake up, you can do it. You might not be able to do it now, but there's no word like I can't or it's impossible. What does that even mean? So and I think once you understand all of those things, you have your values that holds you together.
Mm.
So when you're stepping out the wrong place or the wrong things are approaching you, okay, no, I don't stand for this.
Right. Right.
Oh, yeah. And also with my team as well, the whole thing around scaling up the business and growing and scaling up is understanding what the value is, what we stand for,
Mm.
and are we still doing exactly what we set out to do for our customers? Is recognizing who your customers are, what their needs are, and constantly checking and seeing, okay, are we meeting their needs? You
Perfect.
know? And another word I like is change. I love change. I actually try to hold myself back because obviously there's that saying of like you wait 60 days for something to be implemented and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, Caroline, just feel sorry for your team, chill a bit, just chill a bit. But in the meantime, I'm working in the background and doing all the next the next change is already in place. So
Okay.
all they have to do is like, Miss Caroline think, oh yeah, well, since you ask,
There
like
you go.
literally,
So
I
you're
just
already
drop it in,
prepared.
So
You're prepared for that. Let's
so prepared.
tell me something. So so you came from the corporate background, underwriter, not managing lots of people like you're doing now. How did you prepare, or how do you prepare yourself to manage, these amount of people across all these units? How do you manage all of that? Did you go and develop yourself as a better leader, a better manager? Or did you, again, Caroline energy, just figure it out and just get on with it, right?
So starting off, yes, Caroline Energy, just figure it out, put one foot in front of the other. Oh, that works. Yeah, yeah, that looks like it's working. So I did that for a few years. And the one thing that also works for me is being vulnerable. Hands up to my team. I would generally tell them, I don't know it. I would find out. That
Okay.
was at the beginning. That helped me at the beginning.
Right.
I'm sure if I did it now, they would understand, but I don't do it now. I'm very much, much smarter now, so I don't do it now. But at the beginning, if I got anything wrong, I'm like, guys, I wasn't born into business. I'm learning as we go along, so it's okay to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And I go by even the words in the Bible as a practicing Christian, where the righteous man falleth 7 times, but he still got up. The
That's
main
right.
thing is not staying down and giving up on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, my team, they can all get upset, and it's how do you sort of like constructively deal with that culture that is brewing, that negative culture that is brewing, or looking, and it's you having to quench that fire immediately and think, okay, guys, come on, let's have a conversation. So don't shy away from that conversation, because I tell you, when it comes, what you learn in a book or what you learn at Harvard and what you learn at Oxford is totally different from when
In
you generally
theory,
have to manage
yeah, absolutely.
and when you have to manage people and the emotional intelligence you have to have when
Mhm.
you're thinking, okay, just no, don't speak,
Listen.
just just listen. Yeah. So all of those things, they different ways in which you have to manage, and that's what grow the business. That's what grows the business. That's how you can keep those teams that help you grow the business, because you can't be in all of those places at the same time. I can tell you some of my branches I haven't been for 6 months, but I have meetings with the manager every 6 weeks. I
Okay.
haven't been to the branches. And the way we communicate, not just we have a central system that every parent information get cascaded to every single shareholders and customers and so
Mm.
on. And in terms of my major shareholders, like the schools and stuff, I have a way of checking in. It's like, oh, just to find out how we're doing. Is there any doing it? To have a conversation. So they know you're still there, like
Right.
you're
Right.
present. They
Yeah.
may not see you because they're busy as well. They may not see you, but as long as you can keep all of those stakeholders happy,
Yeah.
business is doing fine. Then you have that creative mind to be able to grow and really concentrate on building a different business, expanding out or whatever it is. But going back to your question of how did I learn all of this stuff? Originally, like I said, I was very vulnerable. Hands up, I don't know it. I'm learning as we go along. We're all learning together. Great. Years down the line, there was an opportunity with Goldman Sachs. They have that 10,000 women thing they do,
That's right.
um, that they built 10,000 women for the year. So they had the advert came up, and a friend of mine told me about it. It's in business. So and
Mm.
I applied, and they need 80 nationwide, so across all of the UK. And I was blessed enough to be one of those people that was chosen. And what they do is they invest in you for 4 months, where you obviously you have a business plan. So I did a business plan for the first time. You have a business plan and you have to talk about your numbers and things like that. So it's really intense. But I got into that, and for 4 months attended Oxford University, and did really business studies and stuff. But again, things like that for me, it's more around. I remember going to the interview, and they had four of them had to interview me. And bear in mind, I've worked for myself for like probably 10, 12 years. So I've
Right.
never been to an interview in
Uh,
12 years until then. And I sat in the room thinking, oh God, here we go. You know, and they asked all the questions and I answered this. So what can we do for you? And I'm like, well, please don't say no, because everything I've told you, I've just learned myself. I've just literally started and it worked. And oh, if that works, let's start again. Let's try again. And that's it. So I've never really had anything invested in me. And this is my present to myself that if I do get into this, this is a present for Caroline. And I think that's what swayed them, to be honest. But I do now read lots of books. I'm not a fan of reading, but I do my audios. So I love my, so really technical stuff has really worked for me. I'm an audio person, audiobooks. I love that a lot. I do lots online as well. And I have mentors as well that I look up to. Yeah, and I think when you're, and without me saying, I'm trying to say when you're humble, like you don't behave like you've arrived or whatever, and you're teachable. Having that teachable spirit is the word I'm trying to find. Having that teachable spirit that people feel like they can teach you and you're willing to learn and listen. And it's not like, oh yeah, by the way, I do da da da. It's not about you. It's about you learning from them and taking something away from them. So
it's a
I'm
great point.
always willing to
Yeah.
learn. And so many leaders, it's nice if you have that teachable spirit, really, to be honest.
I agree with you.
So
To be coachable, to be teachable is so essential. And often in my teachings and in my speakings, I always say that your business, your wealth can only grow to the extent that you grow. So if you want that business to grow much more than what you can handle, you've got to grow first. Because
yeah,
failure to do that means you are just going
mm,
to come to a standstill, a plateau. And you're at the
yeah,
plateau because there's things you don't know. And if you
yeah,
don't know it, go and learn it. And so
yeah.
what would you say, how important is personal development, professional development to success, to business success, especially in hindsight, when you think about where you grew your business to? Then you went down that angle. How important is that?
It's very important, and in particular, if you where you see yourself, because some people would have the 14 brands and think, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm fine where I am, yeah, I'm good, and that's fine. I think I'm such a crazy risk taker. I mean, my husband said, please, you can do everything, but just don't sell the house, just don't like literally. So I'm such a risk taker. You can't, don't trust me too much with anything because I might just put it onto some sort of deal and stuff like that. So, because I know the first thing I've always said to anyone is know yourself so well.
Mhm.
Know yourself, know your learning style, know your risk management. How much of a risk can you take as a person?
Yeah.
And then you can then start to operate around that. And if you want to grow to the next level, you have to move with people that are on that level. And I think growing up, it's always been a battle that, oh, I feel like I'm leaving my friends behind and so on. But no, I later on, I understand all of that. It's got nothing to do with that. Your friends love you just as you are.
Yeah.
But if you want to be on a different level, you've got to move with people. And it is very uncomfortable. It's out of your comfort zone, wherever that comfort zone is, because as soon as you get there, you then become comfortable and then you become uncomfortable again in the next comfort zone. So all of that stuff. But it's you having to say, where do I see myself? What next?
Yeah.
And constantly, which is so frightening, even to me, is like I'm constantly thinking, what next? I'm thinking, oh, Caroline, calm down a bit, slow
Mm.
down a bit, chill. So yeah, so it's so important. If it's either via personal development or you again, like we said about coaching styles or teachable spirits or mentoring, and you have to then move to where next you find yourself. So personal development is so, so important. So, but you have to know you as a person,
I agree.
to know what sort of learning style
Mm.
works for you. I give an example. I enrolled years ago, so did my first degree, which that was a long story, but we won't go there. Did my first degree. I thought never again in my life would I ever enter anything called a classroom. And few years later, business is doing well, and I'm thinking, I'm so bored. I thought,
Mm,
okay, let's go do my master's. So I enrolled at university to do my master's, and the time was perfect. I run my own business, so the time is perfect.
right.
A few days a week, it's not too far from home, and it just works. And and I started, and it's international businesses. Again, it's to do with business. I love business. I love talking about Dangote and all these big businesses and stuff. Using them as a case study is brilliant. And a few months into the program, I in class, I was we everyone just gravitated towards me because they just think, oh my God, she is such a wealth of knowledge. She is brilliant. She knows everything about business. However, in theory, I will cry. I got depressed. I'm thinking this is ridiculous. So I'm thinking, no, this is not me. So
Mm,
I'm not even going to put myself through it. So I literally just packed up on them thinking, I'm not coming back. They said, oh, we can differ. I said, no, keep the money. I'm not interested. Again, that showed me like, that's because I hadn't learned what Caroline's learning style
right,
was.
right, right.
And whereas now I understand that I can do things in bite sizes
Yeah.
and still learn that we're supposed to a long 2 years degree course or whatever it is that so it's knowing who you are and what your learning styles are, and then you work with that. So if it's personal development in terms of maybe coaching or in terms whatever it is, you go for that works for you. The main thing is not remaining the same. You have to grow, you have to develop, whether it's mentally, whether it's in terms of you have to grow. You can't remain the same.
I love what you said because it's about self-awareness. Because
Mm,
if you are stuck or things are not going the right way, and you are aware of that, and you are willing to be open and honest with yourself and say, there's something not quite right,
yeah,
then find the right, like you said, the right books, the right coaches, the right mentors, the right thing to help you to understand that, get clarity on that, understand yourself, and then you can take the necessary action to move to your next level. Love
yeah.
that. Love that. Love that. With all your successes, what would you say has been one of the toughest challenges you've had in business over the 20 years? I know for me, when I started my business in the early days, my first business was an IT business.
Yeah.
And there was so much, although I had a master's and MBA when I started, I realized that academic success doesn't equal entrepreneurial success. I realized that later on because I thought I knew it all. So, but I came to a place where my business was failing, my business's partners had let me down, my team weren't operating the right way, sales and marketing wasn't working. I'm stressed out. I'm working 19 hours a day, 20 hours a day, not much sleep, fell into depression. It was horrible. And so I had some big lessons. That's when I realized the importance of personal and professional development. And so for me, I'd failed. I'd failed because fell into debt over 100,000 pounds, and I was struggling. And I'd borrowed money on credit card loans because my business partners had stolen money siphoned money from the business. They weren't around anymore. And so that was a big failure for me. And I had to learn how to turn that around. What would be for you one of the biggest challenges or failures for you that you've had to overcome?
I think for me would be taking time out for you, because we can get so engrossed in the business and growing the business. And even if you're working on the business as opposed to in the business. So, the whole thing, you work in the business or on the business. So we graduate from working in it and working on it, which is great. And the business can now exist without you, which is wonderful. However, taking time to look after you is so important. A few years ago, I think about 2019, I was so sold out. Like, I mean, sold out to the business, sold out to everything that is about making money and growing the business, which would include my team, my parents, going the extra mile, like all of the time, and constantly thinking, what next? And at the same time, sewing into the family as being a mom and a wife, all of that stuff. Um, and yes, everything was fine. And one morning came into work, um, and I'm so used to doing everything by myself. I'd rather, oh no, don't worry about it, I'll get it sorted. Oh, don't worry about it, I'll get it sorted. And lo and behold, went up the ladder at work, fell down 7 foot down, fell
Oh,
off the ladder, like literally stepped back. It's almost like I dozed off, but this was literally within seconds. 7 foot down,
No.
boom. And thank God I went this side sideways onto my shoulder as opposed to on my back. Obviously, it'd be a different story altogether if so I was off work for 4 months.
My goodness.
And the 4 months that's how long it took for me to even physio, learn to walk again, learn to use my arms again. Like literally, I never thought like a few weeks of not using your arms means you have to start all over again. Everything felt so difficult. And I thought to myself at that time that, hold on a minute, if life ended today,
Mm,
who would have said had impacted their life?
mm, yes.
That was a real big wake-up call. And I said to God, and I said, if I get out of this, that I would do everything to make a change and to impact like lives, basically.
Amazing.
So for me, if you don't look after number one, which is yourself, because without you, really, there's no business. Yeah,
Absolutely.
the business will go on without and all that stuff. But you're very important. And we get so carried away as entrepreneurs that it's all about the business, it's all about our family, it's all about the children, it's all about the husband or the wife, as your case may be, and not you as the person. And the one thing that we forget is the fact that before you became a father, a mother, a wife, an entrepreneur, you were actually Caroline and you were Matt. And Caroline had a dream, Caroline had a goal, but all of a sudden, everything's modeled up into being an entrepreneur, into being a mother, into being a wife. And a lot of us then wake up when we're 40 and thinking, where's my life been? Then you then start to sort of like resent the business. You resent the children. You resent your life. Why is that? So
That's
my call constantly is like, take care of you. You are so important. Don't think you're being selfish flying that business class flight or first
mm.
class flight or buying that Dior earrings. I'm telling you what I like.
Yeah, no, it's good.
That Dior earrings for yourself or that perfume of £600. It's okay.
Yeah,
Just obviously in moderation, but look after
after
you.
yourself.
Go for that massage, go for that spa.
You know what?
I had to run down from there to come to this interview from the
Really?
spa.
You know what
I'm
my
like,
wife
oh,
calls it? My wife calls it self-care. She says so
that's
important to
it.
have self-care, which is so
It's
important.
so important. And you were talking about this writings at the back. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
over on one wall. I got it all made. And this was after the fall.
For
It's
those who
one thing
can't see
written.
it, what does it say? I'm grateful.
Oh,
I am. What are some of the words?
it can whatever your mind conceive and believe you can achieve it. I strive to be better. I'm resilient. I'm radiant. And it's so many. I
What,
am
what,
successful. Like
fantastic.
there are no limits. I am just enough.
What positive words?
I have everything. It's like literally on one wall. But and that happened when I fell, came back to work. You can recover physically, but not mentally.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it took me 6 months to be able to sit at my desk
Wow,
because of the fear that I could have died, or
wow.
the fear of what happened to me, all of that stuff. And what I then did is got my friends to write down words that mean a lot to them. So
Oh,
all of my friends, I could tell you the different ones that gave me all the different words. They
nice.
didn't know that was what I was going to do with it. So and so anytime I'm having a bad day, well, any morning I wake up and I'm having a bad morning, I come in and I say, Caroline, you're just enough, you are just good. You're just perfect. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Just get on with it, kind of thing.
Fantastic
So
work. What is
self-talk, self-talk.
self-talk so important? Onward and upward. Tell me something. What's next for Caroline then?
Oh my
I know
goodness.
you've got things going on. Tell us, share some of the things outside of the child care sector, the
Yeah,
education. There are other
yeah.
things, projects that you're involved in. What are they?
So I think my best, and this is crazy. You think my business should be like the best thing I've ever done, or maybe people say the children or my husband is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. No, but the best thing that's ever happened to me at the moment, and I think with everyone, I would assume changes. We do a project in Africa at the moment. So because I've been in early years for nearly 21 years, um, um, a few years ago, I like December, you're thinking, you're writing your goals and your vision for the next year. And I had a lovely friend of mine, a turned friend now, but mentor at the time that would talk us through our vision and all of that stuff. And wrote it down in the middle of December for the following year, which is 2022. And I could visualize, I felt like I was limping every day. I couldn't wait to get into 2022 and start to do those things till
Wow.
December and see the big projects, like all this stuff that I've written down finished or concluded. And then I think about February, I just had something, I'm not sure, I keep saying it's the Holy Spirit, and I'm just going to hold on to that one for me. That said, oh, you need to do something in Africa. I'm thinking, what? And it's like, oh, you need to do something to educate Africans or practitioners, school teachers, and school owners on how to manage early years, because you heard stories about safeguarding,
Right.
children being molested,
Yes.
children being beaten up, and stuff like that. All of those stuff. So not that it doesn't happen here, and I don't excuse it. So, but I feel my call is to Africa. And I thought, hold on a minute, I can't even remember the last time I went to any African country or even Nigeria. My mom's old, my dad's old. I've only got a sister. They're not even well, like they don't live in the city, all of that stuff. I'm thinking, I don't know anyone. So, and it's like, you're going. I'm like, okay. So I called my mentor who is in Nigeria. I said, right, guy, guess what? I know we had the goal, the vision planned. I know this is not on it. However, I can't even tell you where this came from. And I'm not even like I'm not passionate about Nigeria that much. They'll be like, oh yeah. And
Right.
he's gone, well, if you think the Holy Spirit sold you, yeah, let's get it. I'm thinking, what? You're not even gonna talk me out of it, or it's so fast forward, we started July 2022. I got in the Tuesday before the Saturday of the event, and I thought, okay, I'll go and see my mentor on the Thursday, which I've never met him. I met him online,
Oh,
and we've just worked together, but I've never met him physically. And the Thursday before the Saturday, I thought, okay, Caroline, go and see this guy. So I went to his office. We heard cuddles, scream, shout, and all this stuff. And I started to cry. He's gone, why? I said, I feel the Holy Spirit, God would never forgive me if I don't get this done. You and I know what God's like. He's already forgiven us even before we
it's already
like,
happened. Already happened.
but for some reason, I just have that conviction that if I don't get it done, I would never be forgiven. So he's gone, okay, I guess that means we have to do it. I said, yeah. So the Friday, I went into the space to just look at it and just walk around and just pray a little bit, just meditate. And I walked into this big, massive hall, and I had to go on my team. Then what's wrong with you guys? You think I've got money to throw around? I'm thinking a space for 60 to 100 people. And this big space. Oh, don't worry, we'll be fine. I'm thinking, no, I can't believe you guys. So this is a Friday before the Saturday.
Oh,
I was expecting between 60 and 100 people.
how many
And I'm
people?
asking them 350, and we're looking for chairs. We were
As
begging 350.
and you still had people are still standing. You need more chairs.
Yes.
God's work.
That was 2022.
Yeah.
Guess what? Last year, we
Hmm.
had 1,400 people.
My goodness.
In person, not online, in
It-
person.
that means you're supposed to be doing this, what you're supposed to be doing. So congratulations for you. Onward and upward. Onward and upward. Now, let me say this for those who want to reach out to you, because you're doing amazing work, great
Thank you.
energy, very positive, very inspiring. How can people reach out to you? What's the best way for them to message you or connect with you?
So everything's on social media. I pick up my mails on my DMs and stuff. So it's at Caroline underscore Popoola, or at Alpha underscore Childcare, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm not a fan of Facebook, so LinkedIn or, or Instagram is best. But yeah, but yeah,
The photos you
and
keep are the footnotes of this show anyway, so that's fine.
okay, yeah.
Excellent. Caroline, my goodness, I could sit here for hours talking to you, talking with you and going all around stuff. So I want to say thank you very much. Thank you so
Thank you
much
for having
for
me.
jumping
Thank you.
on, giving so much inspiration, words of wisdom, someone, the reality of life, reality of business, with all the challenges you've been through and turning that around and 4 months out and then healing yourself, then learning to walk again properly, all this stuff, but you haven't stopped. So congratulations, well done. And the world's a better place because of the work you do. So thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much for having me. It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Thank you all for listening. Remember to follow, subscribe, give us some comments. What did you learn from Caroline as well? Make some notes here as well, depending on which platform you're on. Until we speak again, take care. And remember, build your business for wealth. That means
Mm,
freedom as well, not just
mm.
income. Income is short term, but freedom and wealth means you can do what you want to do, just like Caroline here. Take care. Bye for now.